folks. I didn't know I was going to get up. Oh, man. It wasn't my best morning, put it that way.
Stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on two separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on two separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Well, let me jump straight in here, man, because we've been disconnected long enough. Let's get straight into it. Nathan Ivy with you, live, local, and vocal, broadcasting live from beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio, coming up on 10 a.m., which means we're about 2 hours later than normally that we get started. But let me explain to you. So this morning, as I'm taking my daughter to school this morning, guess what? Vehicle goes down. But I ain't too worried about it because, you know, the wifey's at home. We got roadside assistance. I whip out the phone. Guess what? 7%. So that's what happened this morning, folks. I was on the side of the road. Then I was able to get the vehicle back at the house. Then I had to make sure I got the vehicle up and running again before I got the day started, man. I mean, it is what it is, especially for folks who have kids. That time in the morning when you're taking the kids from A to B, that time means everything. It means everything. And if something breaks down, it was so funny because I was just saying this the other day as I was leaving my daughter's school, because as you're coming in and out, it's just really, really, as I'm sure it is at every school when you're dropping off kids, especially like a high school, it's just, if there's an accident, it'll shut everything down. And then this happens. So my car is acting crazy. It's doing all kinds of stuff. It's doing everything but yelling at me. But I was able to get it started again and get the day started. And believe me, of all the days in the world in which I wanted to have any delays coming to the microphone, I definitely didn't want it to be the day after Amber Guyger got 10 years. She got 10 years. And the internet has been on fire. 10 years? There's people who do far less and got far more time. There's people who've done far less and have gotten far more time. So I want to know what you think about the Amber Guyger sentencing. She could have got up to 99 years. She received 10 years. I want to know what you think about the fact that Botham Jean's brother reached out to give her a hug and embracing her, telling her he forgives her. I want to know what you think about the black female judge in the case hugging Amber Guyger and giving her a Bible. Is there some contraband in the Bible, like vis-a-vis Mission Impossible or something like that? Turn to Leviticus and there's a shank in there? What? Does she do that? Does she do that with all of the people that come before her court and are found convicted and are going to jail? I would like to know. Now, I know this is completely out of your time frame. This show typically starts much more earlier than this, but I am here, and you got me for the foreseeable future. I want to kick it with you. I don't care who's coming on at what time. We are together if you'd like to share your thoughts. My number is pretty simple, 513-873-7134. There have been other cases that are now being referenced alongside of Amber Guyger, in particular the case of a young black man who apparently he committed a bank robbery, And in the midst of that, he killed a police canine officer, which is a dog. And in sum total, this young man got much more time than Amber Guyger. 10 years? 10 years? But I mean, she did think she was in the wrong house. I'm not sure people are focusing on the right thing in that case, but I want to get your thoughts about it nonetheless. What do you think? 513-873-7134. What do you think? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? Are you outraged? And here's a real question. What happens next? That case is in Dallas. I'm in Cincinnati. You might be all wherever you are. So how do we process this and make it make sense for us where we actually live? Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's Donnie B. You know I couldn't wait to call you. I'm like, where you at, Nate? We gonna come to the crib and do the show.
You know what? Of all the days, Donnie B, I had car trouble, and it's a terrible thing in the morning when you're trying to transport people and get to work. It was no good. Then I had 7% on the phone, so I only had a chance to put up a couple messages, right? Like SOS, the show will start later. And then I had to use that time so I can make sure I got roadside assistance to get me back to the house. But I'm on now, and I'm glad you called in. What's your take on the Amber Guyger sentencing?
Oh, my God. Look, I don't even know where to start. I just called in just because. Like, I felt like it would be wrong or I'd be remiss if I didn't. I'm like, do we start with the Bible and the hug? Do we start with the brother not only saying I forgive you, but I love you and want the best for you and don't even want to see you get jail time? Do we move to the two black women that testified for Amber Guyger in the sentencing hearing? One of them was a drug addict, and the prosecution did no cross-examination with the racist text. Like, where do you want to go, my brother?
Well, let's start with the brother. What's your take on the brother and his forgiveness? Now, is this just something he needed to do personally so he could process and move on, or is this emblematic of our people being, overly forgiving?
I mean, I think it's a combination of stuff, right? And I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to lie. At first blush, I'm like, you know what? A couple of points on that. I feel like the Bible does teach us that we should forgive, and forgiveness is not about the person who committed the wrongful act. It's about the victim of the wrongdoing and us making a conscious decision not to let your actions, cause me to harbor resentment, anger, bitterness, and unhappiness for the rest of my life. So a part of me is like, good for you, brother, that God gave you that peace that surpasses, all understanding that we read about in the book of Ephesians, good for you. However, to say that she doesn't deserve any jail time at all, forgiveness doesn't mean that there's no consequence for your actions. So I had to research this dude and realize he's only 18 years old, you guys. He's just a teenager. So forgive him, Lord, for he knows not what he does, is my take.
Right, he's a young
on it.
He's confused and trying to sort out his
live
feelings.
a little more.
Right. He said, I wish you didn't
it doesn't
get
have to
any
be
jail
no consequence.
time?
Yes, I put the video link up on, I thought I put it in your Nathan Ivy Show group. I might have put it in mine. But literally, that's what blew me. Like, he took it way too far and was like, I wish nothing but the best for you, and my family may not support me on this, but I really don't want you to have any jail time. The best thing I want for you is to give your life to Christ. I'm like, well, you can give your life to Christ in jail. God will meet you where you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, that's crazy.
And I'm not saying the consequence should be life, but to say there should be zero consequences for her actions, I think you misinterpreted the Bible a little bit, because God has shown he's forgiven a lot of people, but he still came down with the wrath first or after. There were still consequences for some of the disobedience, even if God forgave you. And I can name specific people in the Bible, i.e. David, had to suffer consequences for some of his stuff. Moses, he led the people to the promised land and didn't get in. So I'm like, forgiveness doesn't mean no consequence. And that's the second part of it I think he's missing. So that's my take on that.
The thing that really
what
stood
about
out,
you?
well, I mean, I think it's a great flow on it. Let's talk about the judge. Does she do that with every, defendant or recently convicted person? Give them a Bible and hug them? You got the bailiff stroking her hair.
Energy.
Did you see the bailiff stroking her hair? What is that all about? Was that like some kind of body search before she goes back to the lockup facility, or was she showing sympathy to her?
somebody was like, maybe she knew her. Like, please make it make sense. Maybe because she was a cop in the neighborhood, cops come testify at the courthouse all the time. Maybe they had a relationship. If not, please make it make sense. And even if you did, there's just certain shit you're just not going to see me do.
Exactly.
Even if I feel compelled,
Right.
I just hope the wisdom of God, like restrains me. Like that was just not a good look on so many levels. Like, it's just, yeah.
On no levels, like you said. I mean, I give you a girl, or give you a little slap on the shoulder, but stroking her hair like she was picking out ticks or something. Like, what the hell? What is that all about?
Like she was Beyonce and you was the paid stylist, though.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I mean, and it wasn't just like, oh, let me rub your hair real quick. I mean, she was stroking it, then she put her fingers through it like somebody give me a brush. I was like, this is over the top. I said it was racial Stockholm syndrome is what I call it.
That's interesting. So you got so think about how all these black folks is acting. You got the brother acting out, right? All this emotion and forgiveness. You got the judge who has to make this big display. I'm wondering, is this like something they feel like they got to do so they can remain in their positions in that culture, considering she's a police officer? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think with the judge, yeah, because I found out she's endorsed by the FOP in Texas, so elected judges getting reelected is a real, concern. And, not trying to bust nobody out, but we got some judges here that were endorsed by the FOP when they were running, and they came on your show and said some dumb shit when they were running because they wanted to try to keep that endorsement, and appeal to the other side. But I just feel like if that's what I got to do, then I don't need the position. Like, if I can't call a spade and say wrong is wrong as a judge in order to keep the judgeship, then I don't need it. Like, I feel like if and when I become a judge, like, I'm going to still be Donnie B. My core beliefs, my core values, and what I stand for in racial justice are just that. And that doesn't change because the FOP does or doesn't endorse me. That doesn't change because I'm an elected official. Like, it is what it is. If the only way I can get your support is to pass out Bibles and hugs to white, officers that shoot black men that are unarmed in their own shit, don't worry about it. I'll do some other shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
absolutely. All day long.
I'm cool.
It ain't worth it.
I'm cool.
Do you think,
so that's what I think that was.
Do you think this will send a message perhaps to law enforcement, or do you think that the sentencing was too low for it to really mean anything? Will she be home in 5 years or 2.5 with good behavior, in your opinion?
Oh, she's coming home in 5 years. Can't do 2 by law. So she's coming home in 5 years with a book deal on some Orange is the New Black shit. Mark my words. You heard it here first. So that's what's going to happen to her. And no, it's not going to send a message because the police are looking at her as if she's an outlier based on the facts. And she is. Like, they're like, this isn't the same as an on-duty officer shooting a black man who's a suspect for a crime or who got pulled over for a routine traffic stop for some sort of unlawful. Is you got convicted because you're a dumbass and you shot an unarmed black man who happened to be a saint in his own apartment. So they're not making the connection between this and your Philando Castile, Walter Scott, Tamir Rice, Sam DuBose situations. And I think we as African Americans need to stop because that's not what this case was about. So some people are like, oh, there's evolution, there's progress. No, because this was some other shit. Show me an on-duty cop that pulls somebody over for what we consider to be a minor traffic violation that ends up shooting the unarmed black man that actually gets a conviction and significant jail time. And then we'll talk about progress and evolution. To me, Amber Guyger, the whole situation goes in a different box to me. But that's just, is it me? And I feel like it's apples to oranges.
And the other, if you want to call it an outlier, it might be a stretch, maybe wrong use of words, but I mean, Botham John was a perfect so-called victim, right? Spotless record. Black man had to be perfect in order to get justice, in this case.
Pretty much.
And
pretty much.
And she was dead wrong from the jump.
Well, I love what you said yesterday. I was listening to your podcast from yesterday, waiting on you this morning, and I thought this is the point that maybe has gotten lost on people that I really want you to reassert, which is, what if she really was in her own apartment? The shooting still would not have been okay because she still, under policy and training, has a duty to conceal and cover and call for backup. You know what I mean? And avoid the use of deadly force. And that's the thing that cops forget. They're just like, yo, I'm faced with some sort of force, no matter the level. So it's okay for me to use deadly force. Forget de-escalation, forget policy, forget training, forget, retreating and doing something else. Just automatically shoot to kill under all circumstances. Hence, the brother at the park with a knife getting shot up by the cop who's in his own car that could have easily just drove off. So I think, that's a problem that we need to deal with. It's a bigger picture. What if he really was a burglar? Is life less valuable than my stuff? Can we talk about it?
Right.
Is it just me?
And I don't think America's ready for that conversation. They're happy with the verdict and people are going to move on. But that hypothetical is so true. Even if it was her home, she had options. She didn't follow police procedure. Nobody had to die, go to jail.
I'm a regular person. Nobody had to die. Literally, it happened to me 3 years ago. Me and Davis, my son, came home and my front door was ajar. I didn't go in. When I was walking up my driveway and I noticed that my door was open, I backed up, got back in my car, drove down the street, called 911, what's your emergency? I think there's an intruder in my shit. And even if I'd have had a license to carry and had a gun on that day, that's the exact thing I would have done. I would not have opened my front door and engaged, like I'm Rambo. Would not have. So I'm looking at Amber Guyger like, I'm not even trained. For me, I just feel like that's an unnecessary, combative situation for me to put myself in for no reason. Call for backup. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, even if you thought he was an intruder, had you have said, stop, freeze, police, or I'll shoot, keep your hands up and not shot him. He just said, hey, what the hell are you doing in my apartment? She looked around like, oh, my God, you're right, my bad. He'd still be alive. But I think the conviction came because he was in his own home. And I'm like, we got to go deeper than that. We got to take a deep dive. But that's,
Well, I know you have
that's
experience with jury, so tell me what you think about the composition of the jury and the impact it had. You had 8 women, 4 men, 5 African Americans, 4 Hispanics, 2 whites, 1 Asian.
I think that's the reason why there's a murder, conviction. I feel like if it would have been an all-white jury, we might be stuck with only like one African American. It probably would have been a hung jury because there would have been more white people to try to muddy the waters. I think in this case, they got outvoted. The 2 white people that were on the jury got outranked and outvoted. But as far as sentencing, it just goes to show you, even when black, we do discriminate against ourselves. People think that black-on-black discrimination does not occur. They think black-on-black implicit or explicit bias against your own people does not occur. And I feel like that's what happened. Like, they bought the hype. She dyed her hair blonde, which is really brown, because they said jurors tend to be more sympathetic for blonde-haired, blue-eyed defendants. The shit worked, in my opinion. She got up there with the crocodile tears, and they went for it. And it just goes to show you, black, white, or other, there's a natural bias in favor of white privilege. There's a natural bias in favor of police, even amongst our own. Can we talk about it? The guy that killed Trayvon Martin, what nationality was he? Did we forget he was Hispanic?
Is there a difference between men and women on the jury? Do you think that played did gender play any role in this, in your opinion? From the jury perspective?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think men, tend to be less emotional. So I think the men on the jury probably didn't give a damn about the crocodile tears that she was shedding. I think the women probably got pissed off that after she shot, Botham Jean, she was on the phone worried about her job as opposed to trying to do CPR, use the first aid kit that was at his feet while he was bleeding out. I think all those things played a factor. And I feel like for the women, that probably was crucial. I also think the extramarital affair hit home for the female jurors. I feel like for the men, it was the failure, to follow your own training. And it was the racist text messages, I feel. If I could talk to them, that would be my guess. So I'm waiting for the interviews to come out, on CNN, and The View and all of that, where they get to talk to the jurors and see what they were thinking. I promise you, that's probably what it's going to be.
Donnie B, I appreciate the flows this morning. I appreciate it.
No problem. I can't wait to hear what else you got to say.
And then tomorrow you're going to be breaking down this case, and you're going to be talking about the case of 3 13-year-olds. One of them is dead. 2 of them are now being charged with a crime. And that's tomorrow, 12:30 p.m.
Yes, and it's going to be interesting to see what the energy is, because I've already started to see, the irony of it. So people are like, oh, Amber Guyger, 10 years. But when these 2 kids punched a kid who, and I'll get into it tomorrow, who fell on the ground and died because he hit his head, they're like, oh, throw those 13-year-olds up under the jail. So I'm like, yeah, maybe Judge Tammy Kemp will come to Ohio, and issue a Bible and some hugs to those youth. But we'll see.
We'll see. Thanks for the call.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
That's funny. She said orange is the new black shit. For Amber Guyger. That's funny, not funny. Ironic. Clever, we'll put it that way. Jury makeup, 8 women, 4 men. I think part of the story of this that you can take back home is just how important and crucial it is to have people of color, black people, that are not going to break down on some Tracy Hunter jury type shit and stand up and do the right things. Like, if I'm called to jury duty, I would never bear false witness. I don't care they black, white, whatever. I ain't going down like that. But I'm also not going to be pressured away from what I think is the right thing to do. If it's 1 on 12, then it's going to be, or 1 on 11, it's 1 on 11. You know what I'm saying? But, it's hard for me to understand how you can be in a situation like that where somebody else's life is hanging in the balance and you punking out. You know what I'm saying? Punking out for yourself is one thing, but punking out for the next man? Come on now. In a situation like that, on a jury, I think that's, hopefully, and I think people are going to get that message. I think that we should underscore that message and let that resonate. It matters who's on the jury. It matters. It matters if you got woke black folks on the jury. You ain't got to be woke, but you're intelligent enough to understand and process the evidence, and you're strong enough in your own personal constitution to do what you think is right, no matter what the pressure is. No matter what the pressure is. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't care how long we got to be sequestered. So what? 8 women, 4 men, 5 African Americans, 4 Hispanics. How's that for intersectionality? You got 9 people of color, 5 African Americans, 4 Hispanics on the jury. 9 out of what, 12? I mean, I think that's what it is right there. I mean, even despite the evidence, that's what's so crazy about our country. Despite the evidence, it doesn't matter the evidence. I think the makeup of the jury is what really sealed the deal for Amber Guyger. And no matter where you live, they got juries. No matter what county you live in this country, if you're a registered voter, and I've told people this before, like, well, why don't you at least become a registered voter if you don't believe in voting, like you don't believe in the voting system. Unfortunately, the way it works in Hamilton County, it's not like this in every county in every state in this country. But in Hamilton County in Ohio, the way it works is when they take the jurors from the registration rolls. So what I've argued to people is, okay, great, don't vote. That's what you really feel. At least get registered. Some of the people with the strongest constitutions I talk to, man, they so smart, they so hard, they so strong, they ain't registered. I don't get it. You are the very type of person that we need to be on a jury. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. Some of the, at least on the surface anyway, some of the hardest brothers out there. I ain't voting. Not even registered. You're the exact kind of person that we need on the jury. Smart, intelligent, and strong. You hard. You ain't gonna get pushed around and punked out. So to me, this is just underscores the necessity of why jury duty is just so vitally important. You know, why jury duty is just so vitally important. And it's easy for me to say, because they ain't called me for jury duty. I ain't have to leave work or anything like that. It's so easy to say. What would it take to make jury duty, you know, more appealing to people? That's a thought. Like, how could we increase people's, engagement rate when they are called to jury duty. Because you know what happened. People get called to jury duty. They're like, man, I don't want to do this. So they'll make up an excuse or somehow wiggle off the hook, so to speak. And because you don't get paid. You know what I'm saying? And then in that way, the whole jury selection process is very elitist because, like, how many people have the time? Like, if push came to shove, could I do jury duty? Yeah. Especially after 10 a.m. so I could do this show every day. But who favors that? Who's that favor? That system favors people that have either the type of jobs where you can take off for a week or two and still get paid, or you've got the kind of, bankroll where it don't really matter. If you're a working class person, can you afford to take 2 weeks off? Hell no. You can't afford to take a week off. The memes are incredible. I'm loving the memes. I love them. All the Amber Guyger memes, send them to me. Send them to me. Send them to the friends who like the Nathan Ivey Show. Hey, what's up with you, John? Happy birthday to our tiny baby boy. Love you, son, and I'm proud of you. That's John hashtag Glorious. I'm on Facebook right now. He posted it a few hours ago, him and his son. Not sure where they are. Looks like they're having fun, though. That father-son relationship, man, woo, it's so tough. It's so tough. Hashtag write in Ozzy Davis. I see you, Ozzy. I see you. Good morning. What's on your mind, folks? What do you want to talk about? Good morning to you. Okay, cool. Big things are happening. Did anybody see, shout out to Jasmine, did anybody see the fact that your Cincinnati City Council person has introduced something that could specifically, number one, it would be historic. And then number two, it could specifically impact African-American women. Have you heard that? And their hair? Also, Tracy Hunter is earning early release from jail. She's going to be getting out of jail earlier than expected. Hooray, hooray. I mean, because clearly it's a travesty of justice to have that woman locked up. You know, as a taxpayer, I don't want 1 red cent of my money to go to incarcerate Tracy Hunter. She ain't no threat. Save that space for the real threats. Lock up some of these heroin addicts that's getting behind the wheel. That's what they should do with that space. Lock their ass up. Speaking of which, I reached out yesterday and got a really good response, actually, from a few people. And I had to reschedule it because I had it scheduled today at 9 a.m. We were going to talk with a brother. I moved it to next week. We were going to talk to a brother who was recently incarcerated in the Hamilton County Justice Center. Why? Well, because I'm reading all this stuff in the media about how basically, man, they was damn near, it seems like they was on the verge of what it could have been riots, or at the very least, there were some displays of defiance by people who were inside of the Hamilton County Justice Center. Now, I had a family member who was recently released, and he told me about the deplorable conditions inside the Hamilton County Justice Center. And what I would say is that, somebody needs to look into that. Now, I know that we don't want jail to be a good place and you comfortable. That's what they say anyway. Although, if you go to some of these European countries, man, the way they look at lockups and jails is completely different. Now, I know it's going to be Spartan. It's not going to be, some swanky, area where you got like pull-up carpets and disco balls and stuff like that. But, the whole bologna sandwiches 2-3 times a day, I get it. You want to feed them as cheap as possible, but, what's the impact? And I've heard about some of the conditions down there. Again, jail's not supposed to be a nice place, but it don't have to be the kind of place where you get something on your skin that you can't even pronounce, and you shouldn't be starving to death. But again, I don't have the inside knowledge, but we'll talk with somebody pretty soon who does. Okay? We'll get into it. 513-873-7134. Tracy Hunter earns early release from jail. Like that. Early release from jail, huh? Great. She never should have been locked up in the first place, in my humble opinion. Waste of time. Total waste of time. Cincinnati could be the first city to outlaw discrimination based on natural hair. And I am a number one proponent of natural hair. You know what turned me around? It was that Chris Rock movie. Remember that Chris Rock movie when he delved into the relationship that black women have with their hair, and he got deep into it, and it was somewhat comedic, but it was also some realness at the same time. That's when it really opened my eyes to it, and I started to realize that you got sisters out there running around putting all this stuff in their hair. Man, that can be disastrous to your health, ladies. We need you. We need you. That could be disastrous to your health. Absolutely disastrous to your health. We need you. So all I'll say is this. If, I get it. You want to look good, but don't put that shit in your hair. What time is it? Oh, we way past 9:30. Don't put that shit in your hair, ladies. You don't need it. Any man that don't like your natural beauty, fuck him. You don't need him in your life. So the wifey and I had been married. I think this was before my daughter came along, and I was on that natural hair kick. Just started talking about it with her more. You can't make nobody do anything, including a wife. All you can do is suggest, but just trying to share with her the literature. And the more I read, the more I realized is that, maybe this is the reason why some black women get older and are having some of these specific health issues that seem to target black people and black women specifically. If you put chemicals anywhere, near your skin, boom, you could have some long-term effects. And with some ladies, it goes so far, they don't even want to get in a swimming pool. Providing that the swimming pool is clean, because you can't trust these public pools these days, but providing that the swimming pool is clean, there is no better exercise, especially as you get older. There's no better exercise than swimming and walking. And if you're really trying to get a really aerobic, a full body exercise, there's nothing better than swimming. If you don't do nothing but get in the swimming pool and just march back and forth, there is nothing better for your body and your joints. And yet you got sisters out there that don't want to jump in a pool for vanity? Vanity? Wait, you talking about vanity? Now, unless we're talking about vanity from the popular, was that R&B and pop group from back in the day, Vanity 6? Other than that, hell no. She's still in my fantasy file, a younger version of her anyway. Keeping it real with you. But I like this. I think that Chris Silbach, is it strange that this is coming from Chris Silbach's office? Is this strange? And then, again, this story got national attention yesterday. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. And the image of was a black female, and her name is Jasmine. I think she currently works for a member of city council. Currently works for PG Sittenfield, I believe. Yes, beautiful sister, rocking off the natural. I love the naturals. Everywhere I go and I see the naturals, I love it. So let me get back to the story. So I just kept sharing information with the wifey. She picked up on it, went natural. She gave up the creamy crack years ago. And then she influenced her sister and her mother to go natural. I'm feeling super good. We saving black women's lives out over here. I'm loving it, man. I love the naturals. Love it, love it, love it. Anybody that don't like it, I got a problem with you. Who out here discriminating over people's hair? That's what you doing? It's 2019. So I'm not sure how, listen, I like the protections of it. You know what I'm saying? I was going to say, I'm not sure how much of an issue this is, but listen, if it happens to one person, it's an issue. If it happens to one person, it's an issue. You see here, in the Is It Just Me podcast group, again, if you want to connect with Donnie B directly, you should join her Facebook group. It's called the Is It Just Me with Donnie B podcast group. And she's in there on a daily basis. You can interact with her directly and get a heads up on what she'll be talking about or what's on her mind. Check it out. Check it out. Listen, a couple more podcasts. So I just recorded a podcast. It's just more like a second pilot, but I think there's some elements of it that are pretty good. I want you to check it out. It's called, and you tell me what you think, it's called Cutting Through the Bullshit Podcast. Cutting Through the BS, hosted by a black female, hosted by a black male, and we're still working on it. We'll put it out there real soon so you can check it out. And Sin Digital Media is all about elevating black voices, female voices, and speaking to that urban core here in the city, in the greater Cincinnati area. Good morning to you. Hey, good morning, Bonnie. What's up? On Facebook. How you doing, Bonnie? Florida mom gets 20 years for firing warning shots. Remember that? Marissa Alexander. Now, we're talking about two different states here, right? Because one is Texas, the other is Florida. But you remember it was a black female. She's fired some warning shots because, I don't know, her dumbass ex-husband, baby daddy, whatever, was on some dumb ish. And she had to let them know what time it was. I ain't mad at her. Not one bit. Oh, what is this? Okay, great. Great. Oh, I love it. Nice. I like it a lot here. I'm sorry, I'm just talking over the board, so to speak. You don't even know what I'm completely getting into. Oh, okay, big things. Like it. Oh, man, I love the energy. Again, let me give you a heads up. I'm so sorry about this morning. Basically, I had car trouble. Not to break it all the way down. I had car trouble as I was taking a medium booter to school. I'm on the side of the road. First, I'm like, no problem. Look at the phone. I got 7% life, and I need to call road sign assistance and also call the wifey and just make sure everything was, running smoothly. I got the daughter. She had our son, right? Everybody's got to go someplace. It is what it is. And so I was able to put up like a SOS and say, hey, the show starts shortly, because I thought I got her started and was going to be cool. And then it went out again. And at that point, my battery was dead. I couldn't communicate at all. But I had made the necessary phone calls I needed, and I was just on waiting mode, right? And called a family member who was able to get there before roadside assistance. Then I had to use their phone to to stop the roadside assistance, because who wants to get a charge if you don't need it? So, it's my issues, but I apologize, but I wanted to make sure we did a show today. It was the day after Amber Guyger, and plus I just want to be consistent with you. So that's why we're on much later. We didn't really get started until right before 10, literally right before 10. But let's rock it for a couple of hours on Amber Guyger and a few other things that are going on. Okay? You got thoughts? That's hilarious. If you got any thoughts, I would love to hear them. What did you think about Donnie B's thoughts? What do you think about some of the conclusions I made? For me, what I take from it is it just underscores the importance of jury duty. So then I start thinking, okay, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I think I've got a good understanding of how this thing kind of plays with the jury duty. I went to a community meeting, I don't know when it was, a couple years back, and they were breaking all this stuff down. So I've retained a pretty much, I think a fair amount of it. I think I can speak intelligently about it. And, I think the system is elitist, like a lot of systems in Hamilton County. It's an elitist system. We need to rethink how we select juries. And then also, how do we compensate people for being on jury duty? Think about that. I don't know. I do have a few thoughts. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Do you think that justice has been served? The Washington Post this morning has a headline: Black America should stop forgiving white racists. Do you think that's a real thing, or is that just a perception of black people based upon the actions of a couple, right? So most recently, Botham, John's brother, younger brother, testified, and then afterward went over and was consoling and hugging and saying a lot of really positive things about Amber Guyger. That set a lot of people off. I don't see me doing that if that happens to my brother. I don't see myself doing that, because I'm going to have too much resentment in my heart. What I want to do is take you out the game myself. That's what I would want to do if that was my family member. but I can't do that, right? My hands are tied. I'm limited. I can't really do what I want to do. I just I don't feel that way. Am I a forgiving person? Sure. I would like to believe that about myself. I don't think that I get caught up on small things, but that ain't no small thing. You done killed my brother? You think I'm going to give you the satisfaction? Hell no. Hell no. My blood is boiling feeling about it. Now, if that makes me a lesser Christian or a lesser religious person in your eyes or a lesser person, then so be it. I guess I just ain't a good person. I don't see myself doing that. I see myself feeling frustrated because I can't put my hands on you and take you out the game myself. And then I would feel just nothing but emptiness because nothing's going to bring back my family member. The last thing I'm going to do is go over and make you feel better about yourself. I don't see it happening like that. But do you think here's the Washington Post again. Black America should stop forgiving white racists. I'll read just a paragraph. Just a little bit here. Parishioners pray. And see, this even goes back to what happened back in Charleston in 2015. Remember in Charleston, South Carolina, when that white male, psycho-sicko racist decided to walk into a church to worship with black people, sat down in the back, and then pulled out weapons and killed 9 people. I think he killed more than 9 people. Killed a lot of people. Can't remember how many people he killed. I thought it was 9, actually. Yeah, he killed 9 people at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church. Let's never forget this. Dylan Roof. And then, remember you had the family members talking about, oh, we forgive you. Oh, Lord, may God bless you. See, that's that bullshit right there. And see, that's the way in which religion has been used against black people, making you think you got to turn the other cheek or God ain't going to forgive you. Are you losing your mind? Excuse me, folks, but I wasn't put here to be misused and beat upon, and that's not why God put me here. I ain't going out like that. I just can't see it. You go into a church and murder my family member, I'm trying to get you on the low. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to creep up on your ass and take you out myself. And I'm frustrated because I can't do it. I already know me. That's why I'm going to feel. I'm going to be frustrated in a motherfucker because I can't do it. And then I'm going to have to sit there and watch the legal system play out, never knowing whether my black family's going to get justice or not. And even if you do go to jail, it's not going to bring back my family member. So I'm stuck. I'm going to be real frustrated. I think that's how I would feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I have to give. See, some people that's really caught up with, especially Christianity, from what I observed. And this is why people say that Christianity is not a friend and religion is not a friend of black people. Because it's on that passive stuff. Turn the other cheek and just smile when you get smacked across the mouth. And that'll send a signal that you's a good boy. And that's all you really want to be. Hell no. No, hell no. I want you to burn in hell slow. I want you to be violated in prison. I want you to scream. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. I want you to be in terror. And so be it. If that makes me a bad human, so be it. I'm a bad human then. Simple as that. But that's the reason why. You remember, we already forgave him for what he's done. There's nothing but love from our side of the family. I was a member of the family member that got killed back in South Carolina at that church back in 2015. Oh, we already forgave him. Already forgave him? Now, that's one way of looking at it. That's a more harsh, cynical, aggressive way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is that, I could see something like that changing your life. That'll eat you up. That'll consume you. That'll send you over an edge, send you into drugs, send you into depression. So maybe what these people are trying to do is find a measure of peace. Trying to find a measure of peace. They're trying to find a place where they ain't got to be mad all the time. Who wants to be mad all the time? Being mad all the time, that takes a lot of energy. Just frowning takes a lot of energy. Who's got time for that? So maybe these people are trying to find a measure of peace that works for them. And I'm willing to give them that latitude, right? Are black people forgiving? In general, I'd have to say in more cases than not. And you see it all the time. And see, some of this stuff is like when there's a shooting, young black male, unarmed black male gets killed, 9 times out of 10, in fact, 9.99999% of the time, what I see is the black family will get up, they'll get behind the podium, and it's like they've already been coached. I don't want nobody to start no riot. I want to call for peace, right? That's the reason why people have that perception of the black community, right, wrong, or whatever. And see, some of that be political. You know, people get to them behind closed doors like, look, we don't want nobody out. We don't want nobody else to die, right? And I think these family members be real sympathetic in that moment. Like, yeah, they're right. We don't want somebody else to die. So they go out there and say the right thing. They keep everybody happy. Peace, peace, peace. No violence. You know, I knew my son. I knew my whatever. They wouldn't have wanted this. They were a person of peace. I say in general, black people are about peace. In general, until they get agitated. I mean, despite what the perception might be, I mean, I don't find black people to be, black people can be aggressive if you fucking with them. If you just chilling and you ain't got no problems. If you on some dumbish, you gonna get some fangs. It's just how it is. You gonna see some teeth. You gonna hear some growling. It is what it is. But enough of me, more of you. What do you think? Good morning to everybody. Thank you for being here. This shit is super late today. You ain't got to be here. But I appreciate you checking out the flows this morning. And I wanted to be consistent. Again, I'll say it again. I had some car troubles this morning. Car troubles and a low battery on my phone. Thought it was plugged up all night. The plug had come off. It just looks like it's plugged up. Right? Get into an emergency situation just out of nowhere. And, you know, things happen. So it took some time this morning. I appreciate you. So we've been talking about Amber Guyger and what's going on this weekend. There's a couple things that I want to remind you. I want to remind you about the mammogram jam that takes place this weekend, Saturday, October 5th, 2019, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., 7121 Dixie Highway, Fairfield, Ohio, 45041. This is about raising awareness about triple-negative breast cancer. The Erica J. Holloman Foundation will be hosting a free event for the awareness of triple-negative breast cancer. Have you heard that phrase before, triple-negative breast cancer? Well, if you know a black female that you love, please share this information with them. I've actually posted an online flyer, and if you could please share it with somebody that you know, share it with a black woman or even a black man. Share it with somebody you love, period. Because although men don't really get triple negative breast cancer, men do get breast cancer. We don't talk about it, but it can happen. Montel Williams, remember Montel Williams, everybody, black male? He used to do the daytime television thing, then he would like the late night television thing or something like that. And he dealt with that. It does happen, and health is wealth. If you're interested, again, it's the Mammogram Jam at Mango's Tropical Oasis this Saturday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'll be there at 3 p.m. I'd love to see you and step out for a good cause. Now, if you haven't had a mammogram recently or even ever, we got you. The Tri-Health Mammogram Van will be available for breast cancer screenings. Be sure to come out and support the Erica J. Holloman Foundation and learn more about triple-negative breast cancer. It is particularly targeting black females. Because of it, the research dollars aren't there when it comes to triple-negative breast cancer like it may be and like you see it with other forms of cancers that afflicts primarily, different women, non-black women. We understand how the game is. So what we need to do is raise awareness about this so we can raise awareness that leads to research dollars so that we can come up with a cure for this deadly killer of black women. Do you love black women? I mean, be serious. Then please share this. If you can't make it, you can't make it. I get it. No problems. But just share it with a black woman that has breasts that you know. Or share it with a black man that has breasts. That's going to be most people unless they've already had some issues. I dated a woman for years, and I'll never forget it. She was so upset about it. Never made a difference to me at all. But we were dating for a while and off and on. One of them kind of things where, we cool. And she ended up getting breast cancer. Or she got a diagnosis that she had lumps in her left breast. And beautiful sister, man. She reminded me of Nia Long. Beautiful sister. Met her at the University of Cincinnati. Still friends, kind of to this day. We don't talk too much. And she had to get a mastectomy. So that means she got like her left breast removed. And I remember, we had been intimate. So I remember afterward, she was all shy and she just kind of felt different. And I told her, you ain't no different. You look the same beautiful sister you was before me. Who's caught up with breasts like that? Not me. It made no difference to me whatsoever. Damn, after a while or so, I even forgot. But, for a woman, and, that's easy for me to say, but for a woman, we put a big value on breasts. Our society does. I don't. But society puts a big value on breasts. And so for a woman to get a mastectomy, that can be a psychological blow to the way that she views herself. That's why it's important for the men, the women, the people around those women that's dealing with that to have the right frame of mind. Because, I'd rather you be alive, than not be here. Breast, who caught up with that? Not me. And it's a very tender, sensitive topic that, as you can tell, I'm very sensitive to as well. So, again, protect yourself. Because if you don't do it, nobody will. If you want to take care of you, nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's coming to your house, checking in with you. Wellness check, it ain't happening yet. That ain't happening. So you got to do it. You've got to take care of you. What's your take on Amber Guyger getting 10 years? Do you think that's sufficient enough time? What do you think she should have gotten? And what do you think were the factors in all of this? And does the fact that she was joking around about Martin Luther King Jr.'s death, which to me is racist, and to me, my humble opinion, it's very racist. Like, I got friends and, you could have, dark humor if you want to call it that or whatever, but I just don't remember sitting around laughing about dead civil rights leaders. Those jokes just don't come up with the circle that I run in, and for good goddamn reason, because it ain't going to go well. It is not going to go well. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think? 513-873-7134. Jerica, my apologies. She writes, sheesh, 10 a.m.? I listen, CG Dub writes, hell you been, Mr. Ivy. I appreciate you being here. And I told you what happened. I had car issues. We're doing the one car thing right now. I recently sold my Jeep and have yet to purchase another vehicle, kind of saving up for something. And, we'll see. We'll things happen, so we had to split up the duties this morning. Like, I had to make sure a little medium Buddha got to school. She had to make sure Junior got to his daycare, and then we were both able to get to our places of business after that. So it's hard to do when you're on the side of the road with a battery going down, and I appreciate you being here. Tony writes, good morning. What the hell? Good morning. I know I might be interrupting your listening time to other shows, but fuck those other shows. They don't matter. It only matters that we're together right now, and we're chopping it up. So I appreciate you 100%. Thank you. Tony writes, this may not be a popular opinion, but if the racist cop that shot my beloved brother in his home got 10 years, I go hug her and use the window of opportunity to snap her spine. But I'm vengeful like that. Damn. Just one one blow? You snapping spines like that out here, Tony? Damn. I feel you, man, because that's what I want to do. I couldn't get close to her because you just killed my brother. You just killed my family member, and I'm supposed to just hug you? To me, that would be really hard to do. I would need some time. To get over something like that, like some years, before I could say, I forgive you. That's forgive. See, that forgive shit is different. Like, I can't bring it back, but I don't forgive you. Forgive is like, it's okay, you did it. No. I can say, it ain't never okay that you did that. And because I don't believe that it was something that couldn't have been stopped. Like I said, Amber Guyger meant to kill him. That wasn't no mistake. The mistake that she made was that she wasn't in the right apartment. So what is he forgiving her for? For being a numbskull? For being an idiot and going to the wrong apartment? No, I ain't forgiving you for that. This was done on purpose. It wasn't like, oh, she drops her keys, she bends down to get her keys. She didn't know that, I don't know, somehow the trigger got caught on something and then the bullet discharges. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Maybe she drew her weapon and then as she's going to reholster her weapon, she inadvertently does a Plaxico Burress, former wide receiver and Super Bowl winning, member of the New York Giants. Remember this fool? Black man shot himself in the leg in New York, which alerted the police that he had a weapon. That's a no-no. Mandatory time. He goes to jail from the NFL. Now that's a mistake. What she did was intentional. And she never had to do it. So I can't see in this circumstances saying, I forgive you. Nah, I'm going to have to deal with that with my God alone somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to be doing that there. And then what's up with this weird bailiff that was stroking the hair of Amber Guyger like she was playing with a doll baby or something like that? Like, it's going to be all right, boo. It's going to be all right. Somebody said, well, maybe they was doing like a check on her, like a security check, before they processed her and took her back to lockup. That's the only way in which what I saw was acceptable. Because what I saw was totally unacceptable adult behavior. Totally unacceptable adult behavior. You sit here stroking her hair? What do I look like? Is that what you gotta be to be a black person on the Dallas police force? I don't want that job. That job is just not for me. I'm sorry. That job is not for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. What about the Florida woman who fired a warning shot and got 20 years? Right. She fired a warning shot, got 20 years. Black America, this is written by Stacey Patton. Black America should stop forgiving white racists. Do you agree that this is what's happening? Do you agree that this is what's happening? You tell me. 513-873-7134. That is my number. Angela writes 2 phrases: system of racism, white supremacy, judicial process, and racial showcasing. The niggers trotted out to exhibit overwhelming displays of compassion. Fast Pitch writes, this brother's entitled to his right to forgive, but the optics was very strange. He could have forgiven her in his own private space. Black people in general are way too quick to show the world that they are a bigger person and can forgive. You're right. You're right about that. Yeah, you're right about, I'm over it. It reminds me of the young brother from Oklahoma about 2 months ago, 2.5, maybe 1.5 months ago, where he's doing an on-air segment about the zoo. And his white female counterpart, or really co-host, she's supposed to be on air, his partner, right? She serves him up, says he looks like a gorilla baby. This fool on the air talking about, yeah, I kind of do. You're right, Allison. I do. Fool. Then the very next day they come back, she issues a dry, teary-eyed, weak-ass, fake-ass apology. Is Allison still working for that television station in Oklahoma? She must be, because if she had been fired, it would have been put out there. The very next day, she comes back, gives some half-ass apology. This fool sit here saying, basically, I accept it. You don't got to do that. You don't got to do that. CG Dub writes, imagine if Judge Dinkelacke gave Tracy Hunter a hug and a Bible. Deborah's in the house. King Kobla writes, tell him, Donnie B. Let me back up here. I'm way over. Cincy Tigers was first inside the chop shop. Ray writes, good morning. Terrence writes, good morning. Renee writes, good morning. Tony's in the house. Brenda, Tanika, Donnie B. CG Dub, she writes, you're going to make me do my podcast early. Jared's in the house. He writes, good morning, hashtag Team and I. Fast Pitch, good morning to you. Deborah, King Kobla, Clue, what's up, man? Miss D, Kelly, Angela, she writes, the whole thing was a farce. Just finished jury duty on a drug case with Leslie Gibbs. You are so right. It was hard and only 3 blacks. Yeah, it's hard to be on jury duty because you ain't getting paid. And if your finances are such that you can sustain that, cool. I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you. Truly, truly. I really am. But a lot of people statistically just are not. They got to work every day. You know, missing a week just off the cuff that you didn't expect. There's not vacation time. You don't want to use vacation time for that, do you? No, because you want to relax. Chill with a pina colada. Lay out. Don't answer your phone. Don't look at your phone. Don't look at your work emails, right? I get it. I've been there, but that's not the reality for a lot of people. I mean, what could be done to assist that process? Bunky's in the house. Good morning to you. The bailiff didn't stroke Judge Hunter's hair, just dragged her out the court. Yep. See the difference? See the difference? Brian writes, morning. Good to see you. Yeah, and the commentary from our white neighbors in GCP shows exactly how racist the city is. Well, somebody hit me to a Facebook group. Let me jump in here right now because this ish is off the chizane. It just ain't off the chain. It's off the chizazzle. Man, it's a Facebook group that is dedicated to Amber Guyger. I ain't making this up. I'm looking for it right now. I can't remember what the name of it is. I didn't realize I was in that many Facebook groups. I had no idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like over 10 of them. Let me see here. I thought I was in the Amber Guyger group. Hold on here. Hope they didn't kick me out. Might have. Okay. Damn, I didn't realize that. Wow. Oh man. I didn't realize that. We support I am still going through my Facebook group. Look at this. I had no idea. Man, I just be accepting shit. Okay. I'm literally going through my groups right now. I had no idea that I was in that many groups. A lot of good stuff out there. Where are we? Okay, let me see. I think it's called Support Amber Guyger, something like that. And I think it was like Support Amber Guyger. Here it is, Support Amber Guyger. Is this the group? No, this is a page. Huh. Or is it called Supporting Amber? Okay, that's something different. Support Amber Guyger. Here it is. I believe this is it. Well, it looks a little bit different. So you got all these Support Amber Guyger Facebook pages up there that's running right now. I'm in one right now. These folks in here going super retarded nuts. Did you know that the Dallas police chief is a black female? Her name is Renee Hall. And she made a statement after the conviction of Amber Guyger. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. This is interesting.
It was a year ago. Good evening. I first want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. This has been a difficult year for everyone involved. In this tragic event, our city and 2 families' lives have been forever impacted. What we can agree upon as a whole is that Dallas today is different than it was yesterday, definitely different than it was a year ago. We were so moved today by Botham's brother in his asking of Amber Guyger a hug. And we were equally moved when the Judge Kemp, gifted her with a Bible. That's the spirit in which I think we want to move forward with a spirit of forgiveness, faith, and trust that the changes that need to be addressed in this city are addressed and we make them together. Sworn testimony.
Okay, so that's from the black female police chief down in Texas. She says, in Dallas, she says her name is Chief Renee Hall. And I believe she came over from Detroit. I think she came from Detroit. And I remember a year ago, it definitely raised some eyebrows. Black female coming from Detroit becomes the police chief in Dallas. She did a major reconstruction. So listen to her. What she said was interesting. She's happy about, oh, this is great. And I think she's speaking from the perspective of law enforcement. I think that's where she's coming from. You know, from that perspective, she's saying, oh, this is a great thing. You know, she loves the fact that that the brother came over and gave her a hug. This is some of the first things you say? These are the first things that you say? Oh, no, that seems a little off to me. That seems a little bit off to me. For whatever reason, that's kind of, it ain't effing with me, but, let me see here. Oh, man, it's going down. It's going down. Looks like this page I'm in right now is a page that's based from somebody in Dallas because they're talking about local stuff there and names and places that I'm just not hip to. Apparently, and this is what's being reported, is that Botham John's father said at some point he'd like to become Amber Guyger's friend. Huh? Yeah, I'm not making it up. That's what's being reported. His father said, I'd like to become your friend at some point. I think I have the ability to do it. See, why do people of color feel as if they got to do this? I'm going to be honest with you. If you kill my son, I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be the one on the low to take you to your God. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to be friends with you. Especially with this scenario. Like, you know, there are mistakes that happen. If it's a true, honest mistake, I would feel differently. This ain't no true and honest mistake. This was a white female officer who had a history of racial animus, who made a mistake and decided to become judge, jury, and executioner. Though that was a choice that she took. She could have clearly left the place. She wasn't even inside. All she had to do was lock the door and assume a position with her gun drawn. All she had to do. But she chose to kill a motherfucker. That's what she chose. She said, oh, you made a mistake today, B. You broke into the wrong home today. Ain't gonna be no trial. I'm gonna handle it right here and now. And the man's father is asking about being a friend? Is this, what in the hell? What am I missing? I don't get it. What am I missing? I don't get it. I don't get it. You tell me. 513-873-7134. I'd like to become her friend? You think that's like a step further than saying, hey, I'm just going to forgive you one day. I want to be your friend? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe you do. Maybe you can explain it to me, folks. I don't understand it, not even a little bit. Makes no sense. Not even a little bit. Cincy Tigers writes, Michael Brown's family said, burn this motherfucker down. I felt that. Tanika writes, I believe that everyone is eligible for redemption, but I'm for certain I wouldn't have done the same thing that Botham's brother did. She deserves to go to jail and more. God forgives, but there's still consequences for all actions. Let me see. Daniela writes, Beyonce's dad has breast cancer. She writes, I'm not a supporter of mammograms, though. Outdated diagnostic tests from the 70s. She writes, where is the closing the health gap on this issue? Um, Tanika writes, breasts are a part of who we are as women, big or small. They are important to us, in my opinion. Oh yeah, I wasn't trying to say that I don't understand why it's not important or how it's important. I'm saying I completely do because I've seen it firsthand. All I'm saying is a lot of that is the way that, and this like the stuff that people put on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Who cares what society says? Jesse writes, I just started jury duty this week. Bravo to Jesse. Bravo to Jesse. F the red and blue party. Somebody talk black to me. How can we change the way jurors are selected? Just because I don't want to vote or drive shouldn't exclude me from serving on the jury. I mean, it would be great if you could just do this stuff online. T. Huey, I thought the brother was gone, but was gonna gut her when he walked up to hug her, right? Brian writes, it's embarrassing me as a black person seeing and hearing all this BS, stroking hair, being friends, giving hugs, etc. Who Magic writes, Gotham's dad saw Amber from the back and said, or Botham's dad saw Amber from the back and said he could be her friend. He'll probably put money on her books and everything. You know what? He probably will. He probably will. Put money on the books means that when you're incarcerated and you want to buy stuff, then you can go to like the store, whatever they call it, and you can buy stuff. Well, the way you buy it is they put money on your book, so to speak. So you can call in and you can do it by, if you want to put some books on if you want to put some money on somebody's books at the JC, you can do it via computer. Just go in, boom, get their little number, boom, there it is. Did anybody see, and Carolyn posted this 13 hours ago, anybody see this? When the little black boy won, the teacher moved the finish line. It was a black boy and a white boy. They're playing tug of war. And the white kid is much taller than the black kid. And I mean, this tug of war goes on for like 3 minutes. You ever played tug of war before? It goes on for like 3 minutes. And it goes on so long. It goes on so long that at a certain point, I thought it was just going to quit. I thought the boy was done for because the black boy had been dragged to the opposite end of the field. And there are people with clipboards who are watching and everything. Well, this struggle goes on for like, I'm not, at least 3 minutes. They're going back and forth. The little boy finally, and maybe I'm exaggerating. I think it's maybe like 2 minutes into it. The little boy finally gets over to the left side of the field. He passes the finish line, and then a white female judge with a clipboard comes over and says, oh, no, that's not really the line. The line is over here. So people are like, hey, here's a great, microcosm of America in terms of the black perspective. You're overmatched from the beginning because of hundreds of years of racism, playing the game of Monopoly 200 years, 300 years late. You struggle, finally finish the finish line, and then somebody comes over and tells you, oh, no, that's not the finish line. It's over here. Very sad, but true. I agree with you, Carolyn. It's a great video. You should check that out. It's inside the Friends page right now. Check it out for yourself. Okay, good. Like it. Beautiful. Tennessee mom charged after Facebook video shows her holding infant with one hand and smoking with another. This is down in Tennessee. Man, down south, they got them Negroes on lock. They got them on lockdown. Every little damn thing that happens. Everything. So she going to jail for that now? She was smoking a blunt. I saw the video of it. She was laying there, and I'm like, come on, man. Clearly, this woman was not prepared to have a child. Clearly. I mean, wow. It just amazes me, man. It's just amazing. What is the judge? Why is he holding her? What is going on? What in the world? What are they drinking and smoking down in Dallas? I love it. Great. It's gonna be dope. Nice. I see everybody is posting Dallas Police Association PAC proudly endorses Tammy Kemp. It's everywhere, man. I'm just scrolling through Facebook right now, and I keep seeing the same images over and over again. And it's all about Amber Guyger wherever you go. One story that's local and national that we should talk about, and I hate to be the person to say I told you so, but I told you so. I told you. I told you. The Reverend Jesse Jackson came to Cincinnati, and he said that black people should boycott. And he was here for 15 minutes, and he left. And when that new Kroger store opened downtown, I just reiterated that, Jesse Jackson came here and said no to Kroger. Now I'm reading that Kroger's laying off hundreds of store managers. Middle management employees are losing their jobs. So I don't know how many people are going to be affected by that in Cincinnati. How many black people are going to be affected by that? But let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, what's happening, guy?
Everything, man. What's on your world? What's on your mind?
Everything. Hey, first of all, before I even start, let me send a shout out to Clue Magic. For those of y'all who don't know, he went to a GCL school. He's one of like three. I've got like 20 black friends on Facebook that attended GCL schools, and he's like one of three of them that still maintains his blackness. That still maintains a black identity and black ethos. Because them Negroes, they all up here, it's forgiveness, we don't have to walk Botham or Brant John's journey with them. That's their family's journey. It's been our journey for 500 years, dick face. Getting beat up, effed up by these cops and white folks and forgiving them. You understand? I just read 2 articles. You want racism to stop? Quit like you said. You said the one of them that I read. You want racism to stop? Quit forgiving them when they fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? I saw some minor civil unrest in Dallas, but I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm more mad at damn the sentence. I'm more mad at Brant and them. The mama and then the judge was crying. Nathan, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
The judge was crying, wiping out. She hugging her, wiping tears. I'm like, what the hell? When both of them little brother Brant go over there and hug the girl, the killer. I'm sorry, not the girl, the killer, the murderer. And speaking of which, especially in Hamilton County, Ohio, can you imagine Norbert Nato hugging a convicted murderer, handing him a Bible? Hey, do well in prison, man. I wish for you the best. Can you imagine? Seriously, that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine Norbert Nato, Leslie Giz, Dinkelhocker, Triggs, any of them doing that?
No.
Can you see that? Exactly. No. I specifically remember being a kid. It was right around the time Jerry Springer left Channel 5 and was doing that TV show, doing that daily talk show. It was like right around the time that talk show started. I believe the guy's name was Clarence something, Clarence Coleman. He was on trial for murder in Norbert Nato's courtroom. And instead of, wishing him the best or whatnot, Norbert Nato was talking shit to him. Like, you're a liar, you're a coward, you're this, you're that. And the dude was like, yo, mama. And then, Norbert Nato looked up like, how dare you? Gave him that look like, how dare you address the court like that, blah, 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 blah. But that just goes to what I'm saying. When you get convicted of anything around here, the judges talk shit to you. They talk to you slick and greasy. Get a speed ticket. You're a danger to the community. Driving that fast. This was no mistake. You need to get up for work earlier, set your alarm 20 minutes early. They talk greasy to you like you don't know how to function. And we got this lady out here hugging this girl. Hugging this murderer. You feel me?
100%.
I just would like to, that's part of you've often mentioned a paradigm shift for black folks. That's part of it. Fuck forgiveness. We're done with that. I guarantee you, somebody kills me like that, a cop, if I die of a state sanctioned murder or something like the way that Botham John did, my mama gonna be on the news cussing. You understand me? My brother, nobody's gonna be hugging nobody. My mama gonna be on the news. They gonna have to bleep her out because she gonna cuss every other word. That doesn't make her any less undignified and anything. She's just very upset. You killed her son. And both, but like I told you yesterday about Caribbeans and whites, how they get along. And this is why we have the issue with reparations, the ADOS, and then you got Caribbean and these other colored people that don't want us to have it, don't think we deserve it, because they come over here humble and be happy to be in the presence of white people. Now, the twisted personality insane is hoping that what Botham John was doing is that he had to, or not Botham, Brant John, the little brother, is that he had to touch Amber Guyger in order to enact a voodoo spell on the bitch. You feel me?
Right.
So that's what I'm hoping, the twisted side of me, that's what I'm hoping happened. That he had to actually touch his subject because his the gifts he was giving her required that. So,
but
if he didn't,
her, huh?
Right. But if he didn't, that is the epitome of what I call a professional Negro.
Well, how will we know?
I use that term in here. Well, if Amber, if she don't make it to prison, drops dead in a cell, or develops, some type of malignant tumor in her throat, something, the hand that she used to kill his brother falls off. I don't know. If something happens to her, we're going to hear about it. More than likely, you know what I mean?
Okay, you're right. We will happen. Anything happens to her, we will hear about it. It'll be big news.
Right. She has something like that. So, yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm very heated about that whole situation because the 10-year sentence was bad enough, and then you compound it with professional Negroes. Just got to go out of their way to show white people that they are non-threatening and being around me is a safe space. That is what I call a professional Negro. And I will holler at you at the next moon. Next time, do not be coming on this damn late. I was about to bust in like, where the hell you been?
Well,
but okay, you explained yourself.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that. I caught the end of it. Something about some car trouble. Sorry to hear that, but it is what it is. But I'll holler at you at the next moon, Black.
Take it easy. We'll go ahead and rack them. Is it fair to say that black forgiveness is a gift and a curse? Is that fair to say? 513-873-7134. Open your mind before you open your mouth. Stacey Dash was recently arrested. And she was listed as white on the arrest report. Is that because she told the officers that she was white? Hoping to get some leniency? Playing a race game? They go easy on me and they think I'm a white woman. I don't know. Off the path a little bit, but interact if you like. 513-873-7134. Yeah, this is all just nonsense. Really hard for me to really understand where in the F that they are coming from. I've got a son and a daughter. I don't see it. I don't want to be friends with you if you mistakenly killed my son. I ain't trying to be friends with you. I don't want to be around you. Who are these people that is like, oh yeah, this works? Oh, we're gonna be friends now. That's how you make friends over the dead body of your son? I don't make friends like that, I'm sorry. Tanika writes, Christians don't fool with voodoo. He's a nut. He said the only way he'd be happy is if Brent John, Botham's brother, got close to her because the voodoo spell he needed to have physical contact. Other than that, he said he's not happy. That's hilarious. I've known people that swear that voodoo is real. Swear it. I mean, seriously. I'm like, really? Prove it. What's up? Jesse's doing jury duty. What kind of case you on? You can't talk about it. And since you're doing jury duty, can you refresh my memory? I mean, how does that work, Jesse? I mean, are you? I think they give you like $1 or something. I mean, it's something really, really small. It's not going to cover most people's, daily work, what they would earn if they were at their job. So it's like, if you don't have the money to take off, money becomes a factor on whether you actually do jury duty. And we can say whatever we want to say. That's going to be a deciding factor for a lot of people. Like, can I afford to? Especially if you got children and you've got like maybe after school program fees or something like that, or maybe you've got like daycare fees, or you just got to buy food, shoes, cereal, soap, socks, and gas, right? I hope he touched her up with some smallpox. He put a little smallpox on her shirt. See, y'all thinking diabolically now. Y'all thinking diabolically. Just sprinkle a little smallpox on there, a little smallpox there. There you go. A little smallpox. Is that right? I ain't mad at it. Because I'm just unhappy that the woman got 10 years. Donnie says she'll be home in 5. To me, that just ain't enough. Enough time. 5 years for mistakenly murdering somebody? You walk out scot-free? Here's another article. The system does not value all lives. That's from Sean King. We know that, Sean. He was here recently. Yeah, he was here very, very recently. We know that. We got it. Once dated a chick born and bred from New Orleans. Things got real scary for a while when we split up. Really? She put that voodoo on you, huh? Is that right? Fame writes, the judge cried too. Yes, she did. Again, you got all these black folks involved with this. 2 of them are, working with the courts. I don't know if the people are, like, if the bailiff, I don't even know sure that's a bailiff, but if the sheriff's deputies that are working inside of the courtroom, are they considered, obviously all work for the court. So you got the judge showing all this emotion. I think she's doing it because of that FOP endorsement. I don't know how powerful the FOP endorsement is. I don't know. And then you got the black female bailiff stroking her hair like she got sympathy for her. And it's like, where's the sympathy for both of them? But what I'm here to tell you is the same thing that you're seeing in that courtroom happens in jobs every single day. That same shit happens every single day, where you see somebody get effed up on a job and don't nobody say a damn thing because they don't want to lose their spot. And it may not be hugging and it may not be stroking hair, but there's other ways in which that manifests themselves on the workplace. Because I've seen it. I've seen that same kind of BS get played out. People start acting weird and all this kind of stuff. You're like, what the hell's going on here? It's the same kind of thing. I've seen the same thing get played out. If you go to a lot of these businesses where you have white managers, you see the same kind of shit getting played out with the black people that work in those environments. Sure, it may not be on TV, it may not be as big as a murder trial, but you've seen that shit, you've heard about it. And did you react on your job the way that you are thinking that these people should be reacting when we talk about the stuff that happens on television or down in Dallas or whatever? Just saying. Real easy to talk about Amber Guyger and these black folks, but I like to bring it home. where you work out. Are you punking out doing this coon ass shit? When something go down, are you speaking up? Or are you just keeping your position? Because like I said, everybody gonna criticize her. Why are you doing that? But she working. My challenge is, what are you doing on your job when you see somebody get done wrong? What are you doing? You saying anything? You doing anything? See, that's when it gets real. it's when it's hypothetical and somebody else, it's easy. When it's you and it's your job and it's your kids and it's your ability to get a paycheck and pay your mortgage and pay your gas and be independent and live on your own, then you start to understand why maybe some of these people are doing that. Because from the outside looking in, this is nothing more than trying to pacify, some overarching authority or whoever to make themselves look like, they're above race and they're good Negroes, so keep us in our position. That's what it looks like to me. But I'll ask you again, what you gonna do when the ish happens in your sphere of influence? You gonna sit back and smile and grin? Oh, he's smiling, we grinning. He's smiling and grinning, and you thinking to yourself, I can't stand these mofos. Or are you out there being vocal and standing up for the right thing? Oh no. Something to think about. Hate to make it personal, but everything, let's make it personal. Let's make it personal. Telling you, I see people, oh man, if it was me, they should be doing this, and they should be doing that. And these NFL players should be doing that, and they shouldn't be doing this. And then you go to work and punk out? Go get lost in your cubicle? Or are you standing up for the right things and saying something? So, that might explain why these people is doing it and some of these actions and stuff. I mean, because that stuff is bizarre to me. Like, if I knew that black woman that was stroking her hair, I have to send her a text like, what you doing, B? Are you okay? Maybe that's how I'd approach it. Are you okay? Like, I don't even know how you would start that text message to somebody to, like, ask them to explain themselves. Like, did you see something in her hair? What in the hell are you doing? Tony writes, she once told, wait, let me back up here. I think I missed some. I dated one from TNT. I know the feelings, fame. Strange occurrences were happening. Could have been coincidence, but she told me once told me about a woman could do to keep her man, like putting, sorry ladies, period in his shoes, etc. I side-eyed her like, man, this got to end. What the hell? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end this relationship. We're just gonna be friends. Long distance friends. So you was dating a woman and she said something to you like that, like, was she send it directly to you, or was it kind of like she was talking to somebody else and you overheard it, which could make a difference either way? It really doesn't make a difference, actually, the more I think about it. That's a deal breaker right there, Tony. Depending on where you are in a relationship, a woman say something crazy like that, you've got to look at her differently. You got to look at her like, Like, do I want to spend all my time looking through my shoes and making sure my ish is okay? No, I think I'm cool. Mike writes, the lady CO was prompted by a superior who's sitting directly behind the murderer. Watch the clip. Is that right? And who was the superior? I mean, maybe we're making more out of this than it really there is. Oh my God. You are funny. You are funny, Damon George. That's hilarious, man. Yeah, maybe we're making a big deal out of this. This is nothing. This is just the way people act. And, let's just stop messing around. You know what I'm saying? Let's get focused on what's really important. What's really important is that she only got 10 years. She's going to get more time. She got less time. I think R. Kelly's going to get more time for her. And he hasn't been alleged to kill anybody, although if his allegations are true, especially with minors, then it's very, very serious. That stuff he was doing with adults, that was consensual. I mean, if they want to play like if they want to act like they're his girlfriends and slaves or whatever, his sex slaves, let them go play their little fantasies out. I think there's a couple movies out right now where like some rich billionaire right? He likes to tie up women and all this kind of stuff, and it's supposed to be sexy, right? They're doing it consensually, but when it's a rich white billionaire on television, it's all different. He gets these women. It was based off a series of books. He likes to tie them up and blindfold them and make them do stuff. That's sexy. R. Kelly was doing that in real life. He about to go to jail for it. Make the connection. Make the connection. What is this? Oh, that is dope. There's so much going on. What is this? Oh, that's funny. I like it. I like it. Jesse writes, jury pay is $19 a day. This is my first time being called for jury duty. I just sit there because waiting to be called for a case. Okay, yeah. So they got a case down there. They got a room down there where you just kind of sit with the other jurors. They got magazines and they got some displays up on the wall, and they'll call you if they need you, basically. $19 a day. That prevents black people from being on juries, because we already know that in Cincinnati that white households are worth about $30,000 more per year than black households. So what does that $30,000 on average mean? Well, what it means is a whole lot. That's the difference between being able to serve on jury duty. That's the difference between being able to take off time to maybe stand in line to get your kid into Fairview or Kilgore or one of these, the way they used to do with the lottery. It was so uneven. It was so elitist. I mean, that $30,000 is the difference in investment money so you can be a part of the renaissance that's happening in so many neighborhoods in Cincinnati. That $30,000 is a big difference. It means a whole lot. Snacks and her sister would have gotten that work also, huh? Tony writes, nah, I said in the conversation I had to go. I understand. You got the role, man. You got the role. Blood period in stew is supposed to make you want no one but her, and burying your underwear in the yard keeps you in the house, or so they say. I mean, those sounds like charges to me, criminal charges. I mean, what the hell is in your blood? I don't know what's in your blood. Hopefully this is all made up. I've heard these things before too. Hopefully this shit is all made up and women ain't really doing it. But something tells me, unfortunately, ain't no telling. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Tracy Hunter is set to be released from jail this Saturday. Set to be released from jail. Also this month, Spectrum is raising its prices. So if you got cable or you get internet from Spectrum, guess what? Your charges are going up. It means that the average customer is going to see an additional $10 to $12 increase in their bill. Cord cutters are not exempt. If you only get internet, and that's what I currently do, I only get internet and I have a Fire Stick, and I'm here to tell you, all the people that told me about Fire Stick, and yes, let me go ahead and admit it, it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Whenever it was, you were right. You were 100% right. I'm saving money, and I'm still able to do everything that I really like to do. Just using a Fire Stick. The Fire Stick I got was a one-time charge. We chilling. We loves it. Now, does it work perfectly all the time? Sometimes you got to do a buffering and stuff like that. But the same thing happens with cable. When I had cable, there were times when certain channels didn't work right, and I used to really hate this, I would have HBO. I go in and look for a movie HBO. The selection of movies on HBO was so small that Netflix and Hulu and these other streaming services seem so much more attractive. So I cut the cord, never even looked back, man. I barely noticed it. The only way I notice it is when I get my bill every month. That's it. And it's like $70 to $80 cheaper than it normally would be. So Spectrum is also raising rates $5 a month for cord cutters. So if you're just getting internet, they're going to go up at least $5. That's it. They got to get you somehow, right? Let me ask you a question. Does anybody currently use Cincinnati Bell Optics? Because if you do, I'd like to know how reliable it is. They say that Optics is like super, super fast. It's the wave of the future. But it's not available on my street. The last time I had Cincinnati Bell was like a long time ago, and it was the worst internet service I've ever dealt with. It was super slow. It didn't work. It would cut off. I had to get rid of it. I couldn't believe people pay for it. And when I would call Cincinnati Bell, they always act like there was nothing they could do about it. I'm like, damn it, you're Cincinnati Bell. Oh, we got Optics. And then when you call them, what you realize is they only have Optics in certain areas. So I'd like to know, I just gave up on it. I'd like to know if you're currently using Optics, how is it? Does it disconnect? Is it fast as they say? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Renee writes, criminal charges. Those are criminal charges right there, Renee. Period in the stew. Come on now. I mean, what's the difference? You know, you might as well be sharing hypodermic needles. No. That's the kind of thing you got to give a brother a heads up so he can, that's an opt-in only kind of thing. And then what brother's going to opt into that? Nobody. So, yeah, I'm thinking charges. Tony writes, I took a serious hit last time I served jury duty. I did my civic duty, but damn, glad it was a minor case. Tony writes, we have a Matricom G-Box. I don't know what that is. Left cable and never look back. It sounds dope. It sounds like one of the Autobots, man. What is that? Matricom G-Box. That's like Bumblebee's little brother or something. Turns into a cable modem when you're at home, and when you're not at home, fucking robot. Tony writes, Spectrum they didn't show that in the whack-ass commercial. Clumatic writes, some companies still pay your regular salary while on JD. Yeah, if you got a good job. Yeah, you're right about that. Props to those companies that do that. Every company should do that. It should be mandatory that you pay for jury duty. If that was mandatory, now, of course, business doesn't want to eat that expense. But if that was mandatory, guess what would happen? More people would do jury duty. Because I'm just doing my civic duty. I'm getting paid the same thing. I'm not losing anything. I'm not losing my time. I'm not losing my money. I might be losing my mind, listening to these crazy-ass cases, but you're not losing anything. I think that'd be great. Does anybody listening are you currently using Optics? If so, I'd like to know how well it works, because they say it's great, but I've never met anyone who said they have Optics and they love it. I've never met anybody who says that. Ponder and then give me your thoughts. Tracy Hunter is going to be released from jail 4 months ahead of schedule. Do you think, why is that? Hamilton County Sheriff Jim Neal chose to grant her 3-for-1 credit for time served because she had counseled other women in jail. Well, he could have gave her 4-to-1 credit. She should have been out last month. Where is Sheriff Jim Neal? What's going on with Sheriff Jim Neal? He seems awfully quiet to be running for re-election. I don't really see him anywhere. I don't think I'm Facebook friends with Jim Neal, so maybe that's why. Jim Neal. I don't see Jim Neal anywhere. Jim, I love Donald Trump Neal. There he is. Oh, man. See. Oh, boy. I don't like what I'm seeing right now. Oh, boy. I'm on Jim Neal's Facebook page right now, and I don't see a whole lot. Oh, I've got 126 mutual friends with Jim Neal, really? Okay. I see a whole lot of politically minded kind of people. That would make sense. I'm going to send a friend request to Sheriff Jim Neal because I definitely want to talk with him and plan to talk with him before the election. Between himself, he got a major race he's running against between Charmaine McGuffey, who seems to have a lot of people's attention. We shall see. Memo to Jim Neal: why didn't you give Tracy Hunter 4-1 and get her out even quickly? The outspoken and deeply stubborn Hunter. Who wrote that? This is from WCPO staff. This is what they wrote about Tracy Hunter. The outspoken and deeply stubborn Hunter. Deeply stubborn? That's interesting. Deeply stubborn, outspoken, and deeply stubborn. I mean, instead of calling her deeply stubborn, they could have said outspoken and, some type of phrase that I think wouldn't have had such a negative connotation to it. Deeply stubborn? That's almost like some gender bias shit, something like that. Who wrote this for WCPO? I'm curious now. The outspoken and deeply stubborn Hunter was already a controversial figure in Cincinnati judicial politics when a pair of special prosecutors announced 8 felony charges against her in early 2014. She won her seat in a hotly contested 2010 election, the outcome of which wouldn't be finalized until a mid-2012 court ruling declared her the winner. Once in office, she clashed publicly and frequently with other officials, including Dieters and Assistant County Prosecutor Charles Lippert. On the day of her indictment, January 10, 2014, she emailed her staff to blame the forthcoming charges on other officials' resistance to accepting a black Democrat as a judge and embracing the changes she had attempted to make in the courtroom. Whoever wrote this for WCPO, they need some help. They're leaving out a lot here. I see what they're trying to do, and it ain't working. It ain't working. Deeply stubborn. What? It's official. A drought has now been declared in Cincinnati. These last couple of weeks have been very, very, very warm, to say at least. We're talking about 90 degrees. And I think this is going to break tomorrow. They're saying on Friday, the weather's going to change a bit. The U.S. Drought Monitor is out, and Cincinnati is officially experiencing drought conditions. I've got areas of my grass that's not grass anymore. It looks like it's dead. I'm going to have to replace it. Droughts? We got droughts, disease, famine. Sounds biblical. Tony writes, Jim Neal is like Joe Dieters. He's assuring that he has the job on lock. He's assuming that he has the job on lock. Is that right? That'd be a mistake because anything can happen. When you're in a race, you got a chance to win. I don't care who you are. And you in that boxing ring, 2 men toe-to-toe, anything can happen. Nicole writes, she agrees with Tony. Hey, Nicole, good to see you. Jesse writes, I get to keep the jury duty change and get paid at my job. Is that right? Okay, so you coming out ahead, Jesse. So I guess your attitude is just a kickback and whatever happens, happens because you're not losing any time and you're actually gaining money. You picking up $20 a day, man. That's gas money and boom, a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? You going to Cane's. Get you a Caniac with that. Good morning to you. So I'm with you up until 12 noon. I want to give you a solid 2 hours every single morning. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to have to figure out how I want to do this because tomorrow, look for an interview between myself and Yvette Simpson, and we'll be talking about local politics, national politics. Of course, Yvette Simpson was a longtime member of city council, and then she ran for mayor. People start hating on her, talking about her blackness, who she's dating, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. John Cranley was reelected. Still looking for John to lift those kids out of poverty. John, still waiting to lift kids out of poverty, Cranley. That is his name on this show. Okay, shout out to Angela. John still waiting to lift kids out of poverty. You know, he pledged to lift thousands of kids, primarily black and brown kids, out of poverty, and the shit has never happened. Earlier this year, he's talking about, oh, we're going to get started now in January of 2019. What? Say again now? Which tells me it was a hollow, empty promise that he never was going to ever come through on. That's what it tells me. That's what it tells me. It was a hollow, empty promise that he was never really gonna come through on, because we know, look, when city leadership is serious about something, they move quickly. Look at what happened with the FC Cincinnati project. That's an example of city council, the mayor's office, that's really in support of something. See how fast that happened? When they don't really care about something, they say good things about it, but nothing ever actually happens. Nothing ever really happens. So, all right, let me jump back into the Friends page before we roll out this morning. If you got any thoughts on Amber Guyger and what went down, I'd love to hear it. Release date, Tracy Hunter. I'm seeing the same things over and over again online. Yeah, over and over again. Black America should stop forgiving white racists. I get it. We talked about it. I think we all on the same page. We ain't going out like that. If you're interested in joining the Nathan Ivey Show CCW class, it's going to be on Sunday, October the 13th. The total cost will be $90. And you can cash app half of it to me now, if you'd like to, and then bring the other half in cash and you can give it to the instructors. And that will suffice. You can cash app me, the Nathan Ivey Show, and also you can PayPal me, the Nathan Ivey Show, and we'll get it started. It's going to start at 8 a.m. It's an 8-hour course. The first 4 hours is sort of like in-class instruction. The second 4 hours is actually on the range. If you don't have a weapon, you don't need one. They're going to provide them for you. If you do, please bring 50 rounds of ammunition. I will be at that class on the October the 13th. I'll be taking it myself. The idea is we want to get as many people as possible who have a legal CCW. Now, why do I'm saying this? Why do we believe this? I'm saying this because you know, I believe that black people are under attack all over the country. That's just my personal belief. I believe on a lot of different levels, black people are under attack. And I believe in a higher power. I'm a spiritual person. But, you know, what offers you more protection, God or guns? Well, depends on the threat. For these real life Dylan Roofs of the world, if I'm in church, somebody comes in there, I've said it to you before, I want to be able to defend myself and my family. If I'm at work or in some public space, it happened in Kentucky. There was a white male. This ain't just racially motivated, but I'm just saying we live in a world where there are race soldiers out there trying to take us out, psycho sickos trying to take us out, co-workers trying to take you out because they mad about something on the job, so they want to kill everybody. You know, people going to our schools. I don't care what the situation is and what the threat is. I want to be able to potentially neutralize it and come home and come back and do this show and go back and love my family. And I think having the knowledge, we're going to be instructed by former Cincinnati police officers, black folks. So they're going to give us that legal and also that black perspective on how to deal with a CCW case. They're going to run us through some scenarios like what you should do in your black self. If you find yourself in an emergent situation and you got your firearm on you, what should you do? They're going to walk you through that. And again, this is the first step. We want to move into something more tactical. And so we're already planning. And when I say tactical, is what I mean is getting your CCW means that you're legally able to conceal a weapon. But what I want to do is I want to help you get trained so that when you're in an emergent situation, you know how to react. So you know how to fire different weapons. You know how to fire from sitting in a car. You know how to fire from down on one knee. You know how to, like you see in the movies, but it's not like the movies when it's real bullets at you, right? You know how to duck for cover and also peep around and do what you got to do. You know how to shoot from a belly position. You know how to hit targets from different ranges. So we've already been talking about it to folks with Ride or Die, and they're willing to provide us at least one additional training in November as well. So I know it's a lot of people who've already got your CCW. I told you that once we get started, we want to move quickly. Great. So we'll have a date for you in November where if you already got your CCW, you can join that and we can all get, we can be more proficient and more comfortable with our firearms from different positions. To me, it's all about safety. This ain't about no going out there trying to be, no vigilante. This is about protecting you and your family. It's about coming home to you and your family. And it's about you doing what you got to do. Nobody wants to have to pull a trigger on nobody. I don't want that. You don't want that. I don't want to have to run on down on somebody and take their life. But damn it, if they put me in a position and it's me or them, it's going to be me. Period. All day, every day. And I know you feel the same way. And this is how it starts. And this is how it begins. October the 13th. I'd love for you to be there. Well, we can accommodate up to 23. As a matter of fact, we can take as many possible as many people. We can take more than that. I would just need to know who is interested. So I put it out there. I'll be contacting everybody. My Cash App is the Nathan Ivy Show. Your payment is confirmation, and you'll be straight. And we'll take it from there. You can also hit me on PayPal, the Nathan Ivy Show. And when I confirm, I'll notify you and I'll let the folks at Ride or Die know as well. I think I'm trying to get the wifey to be there as well. Of course, we got young kids. That means we got somebody to come to the house and be with them. But I'd love for you to be a part of that. We can all do it together, experience it together, and then get proficient together. The CCW was not enough for me. It ain't enough. I'm going to do this either way. But I'm inviting you to be a part of this because I think that many of you feel the same way I do. I'm a big Second Amendment guy. I think that in the black community, instead of arming good black folks, it's all about disarming the whole community. We look at firearms and guns differently when they're in the hands of black people, but I don't. So if you're interested, please let me know and I'll put your name on the list and we can get started. We can get started. If you do not have a weapon, you don't need a weapon. They're going to provide a revolver and also an automatic. Again, the total cost will be $90. That's per person. And all of that's going to Ride or Die. I'm not getting anything out of this other than the pleasure of knowing that, I can be with some good people and we can all potentially be safe and protect our families. I ain't afraid to be around black people with guns. I ain't no problem with that. I ain't afraid of that. That don't scare me. Especially if they got common sense. I ain't scared at all. But that's what the deal is. That's the opportunity. That will not be the only opportunity, but the facility that we're going to is going to be out in Fairfield. As a matter of fact, let me give you the exact address because you might want to Google it like, hey, let me see what's up beforehand. Let me give you the address. Wait. Hold on. I'm getting crazy messages. What? Let me see. Let me see here. I just got images from when I told you did a photo shoot a couple of weeks ago. I don't do no photos. I don't think I'm particularly photogenic, quite honestly. But it was an opportunity. I said, hey, let me go for it. Some bucket list stuff. And then it allowed me to, make some business connects in the same time. And they're just sending me the photographs right now. So, I'm super shy about this stuff. But I will put it out there. If you're interested, you can check it out. Hold on one second. I want to make sure I get this information for you. Okay, so it's going to be, you can write this down, where the training facility is going to be. It's out in Fairfield, 2830 Mac Road. The zip code is 45014. That's their usual training facility on Sundays. Like I told you, we're making a special exemption or exception for us on a Saturday. What they typically offer is a Sunday. I want to be at the facility, what they do, I want to do the stuff that I see everybody else doing, right? That's what I want to do. I want the whole experience for myself and for you. But if you want to Google ahead, if you want to do like a Waze app or whatever and see how far away it is from you, 2830 Mac Road. It's in Fairfield, Ohio, 45014. So there it is. And if you're interested, and I'll be in contact. Love for you to be a part of it. Love for you to be a part of it. Tony writes, Diana writes, exactly, acting overly meek to show white people we are not threatening, right? Mm-hmm. That goes back to that plantation-ish. Oh, I ain't gonna run, boss. I ain't running nowhere. I likes it here. Uh-huh. Like I said, I seen it happen on jobs. We ain't talking about no stars. We ain't talking about no murder cases. I'm talking about regular, everyday jobs. I've seen that shit happen. So I just want to tell people, it's like, it's real easy to sit back and watch these people on TV like, oh, why she doing that and why she doing this? But when your ass and your job is on the line, when you feeling like you got to appease, people on your job, it becomes a little bit more personal. It really does. And I'll say it again, that's the reason why a lot of people choose to start their own business and become entrepreneurs. It's like, I ain't got time for nothing. I ain't doing this. I ain't shifting. I ain't doing none of that. Just saying. Tony writes, speaking of Psycho Sickos, Joker premiering today, skip it and watch it on G-Box or Fire Stick. You'll thank me later. What the hell is G-Box? What? Let me Google this, man. I don't know what G-Box is, man. I'm just so out of loop on that, I guess. I guess I'm supposed to know more. Oh, okay, I see it. I see it now. G-Box, okay. A full media experience made for your living room. Enjoy watching your favorite shows and movies on full HD, like Roku, Apple TV, Nexus, and more. Okay, that's what a G-Box is. I had no idea, man. You just turned me on to something this morning. I'm not going to see the Joker, number one. Joaquin Phoenix. Joker, Batman. It's just not my thing. Joaquin Phoenix, I don't care. I don't really care about the story of Joker. I'm old enough that shit is just old to me. You know what I'm saying? I've heard good reviews saying it was a great movie, but I've also heard that the U.S. military and law enforcement put out a warning saying that, there might be people that want to commit violence at the Joker openings of the movie theater. And I thought to myself, well, shit, 1 + 1 = 2. I don't really give a damn about it. Plus, there might be a threat. Equals, I don't ever have to see this movie. If I see the Joker, it'll be on some Fire Stick shit from 3-4 months from now where I'm like on the couch, falling asleep. I'm like, oh, Joker. I throw it on and fall asleep 5 minutes into it. That's been my regimen. Sorry. So I Tony, tell me how it is. I ain't hating on nobody. I just ain't turned on by it. I just ain't turned on by it. Sorry. When I was a kid, Batman, Robin, all that shit. That was the only shit that was on. So we watched it and ran around like Batman and Robin, but that was a long time ago. A long time ago. Blue Magic writes Joker. Meh. Yeah, it's like I said, I was never going to see it anyway, but now there's a threat, and they call these people's ISILs. It's a real term, ISIL. And I don't know what the acronym stands for, but if you go back to Colorado 4 or 5 years ago, they had a Batman movie opening. White male goes in there, opens fire. Well, apparently he's like the champion. He's like the Jesus to these psycho sickos out here who call themselves and identify as ISILs. And apparently they go into these little chat rooms and talk about how sick they are and how they want to kill people, and then they plan it. Well, the U.S. military got hip to it and put an APB or put a warning out and to try to let people know about it. So to me, why take a chance? You know what I'm saying? It ain't that serious. That's what home entertainment is all about. You can stay home, you can pop your own popcorn in your microwave, you got your white cheddar popcorn, you chilling, you got your drinks, you at your house, no ISILs are there, make sure you lock the door, no Amber Guygers. Raise your hand if you've been more cognizant of locking your door, because I have. I'll be honest with you. I have. I'm a little bit bad about that because sometimes, I'm like, ain't nobody coming in here. If they do, I'm like every other black person. I'm like, shit, I wish somebody would come in here, right? Like that's going to protect me and my family. But I'm like that sometimes. Maybe it's a man thing. What I've noticed lately is my wife and daughter is, because we told her all about the story and she knows the whole thing about Amber Guyger. We've been talking about it at home and being outraged. So she's a part of the conversation now. She needs to hear all of this. So she knows what she's dealing with when she goes to school and the world around her, right? But how many people, just hands up, how many people have been more cognizant about locking your front door and your back door? Because it's like, well, shit, anything could happen. Anybody can walk through your door like, oh my God, 15 years ago, I lived in a neighborhood that looked just like this, right? I mean, anything goes these days. Anything goes. I would imagine I'm not alone in that. I would imagine there's a lot more people that are like, let me just go ahead and lock this door. Let's just make sure that nobody comes in here on no dumb shit. Because, again, it can't happen. We've seen it over and over again. Is Amber Guyger in jail right now? Has she already been processed? 10 years, huh? We shall see. We shall see. Listen, folks, thank you for being here. I know we got the show started late today. I really apologize. It was not my intention. I would prefer to be on early with you and get the flows in and then move on with my day. But I planned and promised to be with you at least 2 hours this week, every single day. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, tomorrow, look for my interview with Yvette Simpson. We'll be talking about, politics in the age of Trump. I'll ask her about the impeachment. I'll ask her what she thinks that people can be doing today in their communities, what black people can be doing in their communities as we get ready for 2020. If you have questions for Yvette Simpson, please let me know. I'll process them, and perhaps I'll use those questions. Okay, next week, man, it's about that time. It's turn up time, okay? We're getting closer to school board. You got all these school board debates and forums that are going to be happening in the month of October. That means we're getting ready for November when you got the school board election. Who are the incumbents and who are the challengers? I've reached out to everyone, and I hope to bring everyone on the show so you can get some insight into who these people are and what they might do if they're going to be elected to school board. And I am especially critical of the incumbents. I must be honest with you. I am especially critical of the incumbents. Because what you need to tell me to some level of intellectual satisfaction, and I ain't looking for no bullshit, is why should you be reelected? And the school district just got a D. That's a fair question. Black, white, Democrat, or Republican. So I'm especially critical of two things. I'm especially critical of people of the incumbents, because you've been down there. It's your fault, the way I look at it. And I need to know why I shouldn't look at it as it's your fault. Are you just sitting in a position taking up space, but you ain't really doing shit? Is this about prestige? Like, telling people you're on a school board? What's this all about? And if you're a challenger, as I said before, I'm biased toward people that have classroom experience. That's just me. That don't mean you got to have classroom experience to be on the school board and do a good job. But I'm just telling you, in my opinion, I'm biased toward those individuals that have classroom experience, meaning that you have been in charge of a classroom, not just volunteering, not just working there, not a teacher's helper, but you were in charge. That is a different perspective. I'm just biased. Now, does that mean that somebody has to have that in order to be good? No. I'm just giving you my personal viewpoint as we get ready for these interviews. So get ready for that. Also, there is a hotly contested race for judge. Matter of fact, a lot of hotly contested races for judge. And we'll be having interviews with those individuals as well starting next week. And then next week as well, look for an interview between myself and, get this, the superintendent of CPS. Okay, so I'll confirm. I can say it's going to happen, but I want to make sure to confirm exactly the time so you can listen. You already know how I feel about CPS. I've got questions about their overall efficacy. I've got questions about their bullying policy. I've got questions about the way that they process complaints from parents. I've got questions about the ability for them to produce not just high school graduates, but college graduates. And I don't want to hear no bullshit. Okay, I'm going to always be respectful and professional. But to me, it's like, they got a D. You know what I mean? It's like, so the same thing last year. Where's the improvement? It's not enough that Walnut Hills is doing great. That is not enough. That is not enough for me. Nobody should be satisfied by that. So just a few things to look forward to between then and now. And I'll let you know. As I confirm the interviews, especially with the superintendent, I will let you know. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking for all the interviews, but I'm especially looking forward to that. I want to hear. I mean, she might have great answers like, "No, you got it wrong." Okay, all right. I'm willing to hear. But again, that's an opportunity not just for me to ask questions, but for you to ask questions as well. So if you've got questions, please let me know, and I will process them and perhaps use them. Very, very simple. Have a great day. Okay. Have an excellent day. What is today? Thursday. Have an excellent day. Bunky writes, where's Drop? Where's Glenn? Not sure. I mean, this is a little bit off Glenn is at work, I believe. Drop is probably walking while retired. So we'll catch up with those brothers tomorrow morning. Tony writes, great show, good energy. Thank you so much. I want to give you a good show, give you some information, give you an opportunity to chop up some of the stuff that's been going on. Viva La Chapas, and we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.